So, good afternoon, Professor Ferrari.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Japan.
Thank you.
I think you've visited Japan quite a few times already.
Well, more than 20 times.
More than 20 times?
Yes. I started to visit R&D in Tokyo, probably at the end of the last millennium.
If I can ask you a bit of a personal question, like what got you interested into dentistry and to become a dentist and a very big researcher and a professor?
Yeah.
What took you down that road?
Well, briefly, I was in my medical school because at that time the dental school did not exist yet in Italy. So I took my medical school, and then at the end of my learning process in medicine, I decided to go for a specialty. At that time, the dentistry was a specialty of medicine, in which it was possible to do both job in university but also privately.
Yes.
So I was not looking at that time for a full-time job in a hospital. And so I restrict my choice between dentistry from one side and orthopedics, because I was in the national team of judo, so was when I was young, so it was something that, in my view at that time, can keep me close to my desire, my hobby, my life, my young life. Then I took dentistry for a number of combinations, and I moved to Tufts University in Boston for my postgraduate program in prosthodontics. But then I was very happy to work in clinically, but I'm curious as a monkey, so I love to do research from the beginning. I really love it. And I bought a scanning electron microscope, and I put in my office. So at that time I was joking, I was hobby, just to research and to work and so on. And then for a coincidence, I met Professor Davidson during a congress, and I was looking for continuing my postdoc education. And so he accepted my desire to take the Ph.D. with him in Amsterdam in dental materials, and he changed my life. He really changed my life. He taught me a lot, not only in dentistry, but also in life. And so I started to look at not only clinical aspect, but also research aspect in dentistry. And in the meantime, I was going back and forward from Tufts in Boston, and I went through my entire career from instructor, assistant professor, associate professor to full professor. I'm still a research professor there. And at the end of the millennium, 2000, well, the beginning of this new millennium, I was appointed associate professor in Siena. And the year after, I became full professor. So I had a very lucky and brilliant career at the beginning. So, and I was full professor when I was a little bit more than 40. So it was I was very young. And so I was lucky because I found a good balance in my professional life between clinic, patient, and research. So, and I'm still continuing to do that, although 4 or 5 years ago I stopped to work in my dental practice. I left to my son, and now I'm full professor in the school. I'm working intramurally, but I'm very glad, and I consider myself very lucky for that.
We are very lucky to have you, actually. And talking about research right
Yeah.
now, and the one that you are doing, you were doing a lot of digital dentistry research. What is interesting about this part of
Well, I
research?
already more or less told you what is my main interest. At the beginning was prosto, but of course, when you are a young dentist, you are fascinating from a specialty. And I was concentrating on restorative and prosto.
I see.
But from clinical point of view. After during and after my PhD in Amsterdam that I performed between 92 and 95, I developed a great interest on researching on materials, because material is everything. You can touch any specialty in dentistry. Although I continue to do a prostodontist and to do my restorative and so on. And significantly, we work on from bonding to resin composite to fiber post, and then I shift to I would say prostodontic material like porcelain, lithium disilicate, zirconia. So we follow a little bit the trend and the news and so on. And what was good was the cooperation I had with GC that for so many years that can permit me to share a lot of ideas, information, to learn a lot from the R&D, and to be part of development of new products. That was very, very good.
Thank you very much, Professor. I have a few questions over here
Sure.
that I would like to ask you. So you mentioned the term of long-term temporaries of 3D printed crowns and bridges. Why do people still think of them this way, and what's preventing these materials from becoming more widely used in different clinics?
The problem in dentistry is always who is going to pay for dental treatment.
Yes.
So I was lucky because in my life I have to travel a lot. I've been in touch with many colleagues, friends, but also I touch different realities. In some countries, dentistry is more luxury. In some countries, dentistry is poorer. In some countries, dentistry does not exist yet, almost. So we have to also to think of that. Well, at the beginning of my career, I was concentrated on materials for luxury dentistry, for my practice. Okay. Dental office in which you have a patient going regularly to the dental office every 6 months or every year. So patient that can afford the cost of dentistry. But then working inside the hospital, part-time and full-time, now, I realize how many people they don't have dental care, because economical issue. When I yesterday mentioned about possible long-term, and we don't know how long is long-term temporary restoration using 3D printer, is because at the moment it seems to me a procedure that can permit to have good quality of the restorations, but at the same time is the cheapest. So this can permit to a dental office in West country, but also in other country, to treat more patients. Because if the cost is more affordable for the population, of course, we can have less income from each patient, but we may treat many more patients. And dentistry, in my view, maybe because I'm a medical doctor, first of all, is also a mission. We need to treat patients. We need to treat the population. We cannot save the life, usually, in our daily job, but we can improve the quality life. And the improvement of quality life, I don't want to say that is right of the population, but in a developed country should be a right. So we need to make wider the number of patients that can afford the cost of dentistry. And there are only one way, is to reduce a little bit the cost
of the
but of course ethically keeping good quality. At the moment, for the experience I have, limited experience of course, because it's a new treatment planning, new materials, new devices, we do not have 10 years result yet. But for the experience I did, clinically, 3D printed restoration can really help on this goal to make wider the number of the population, the part of the population can be treated. And let's assume that we fail. We have a failure. We have already the job done. We already have files, impressions, so we can reprint something, maybe modifying something in order to try to avoid another failure. But so it's a sort of not catastrophic failure. And for what cost? Very, very low. So if I ask you, you are a dentist, but if I ask you as a patient, I can provide you a bridge that can cost this amount of money. That is a final bridge, it can be great for your life. But if you don't want to afford this cost, you can spend 20-25%. And I don't know how long we stay, but several years for sure. What you decide to do?
Probably
many patients, they much prefer to spend less immediately. But the quality must be good.
I mean, there needs to be like a minimum quality.
No, because the job of the dentist is the same.
Right? Yeah.
The job of the dentist is the same. We can reduce a lot the involvement of the technical lab, but then is repairable. We can reprint. So it's something that is stimulating. I don't want to say that this is the final procedure we'll have for the next 20 years, but is going in the right direction, making wider the number of people that can afford the cost of dentistry.
I see. And this leads us definitely to the next topic that I wanted to ask you about. How's patients' reaction to digital dentistry? For now, you talked about 3D printing, but generally speaking, like even intraoral scanning, how's the acceptance rates?
Well, for the patient, it's much easier to accept it because the cost for the treatment is the same, and you don't use an traditional material, you don't fill the mouth with impression material. So, of course, it's something that they prefer. I don't believe that the patient, they feel so much the quality that of dentistry that we can afford with digital devices and techniques. I believe that the patient can feel psychologically that the dental office is an update, modern office using new technique and devices. So I believe that is more a business card for the dental office to have the iOS and so on.
But we also have this aspect of quicker turnouts. We can
it's relatively quicker. Yes, it's true. Right? It's relatively quicker. We reduce the number of appointments to complete the treatment. That for sure. But I'm not sure that about your question that the patient feel it.
It is true,
because the patient doesn't have doesn't try the opposite treatments, so he cannot compare. He just receive what you offer. And if a dentist don't feel safe to use an iOS, can do what I did for 7 years. Take impression traditionally and digitally.
At the same time.
All the patients. Well, I'm old enough to say that I born in a traditional, I grew up in a traditional dentistry. And before leaving the traditional impression, I want to be sure. So, and then there is a learning process. Learning process means that you start with a small restoration, then you want to make wider the length of your treatment till the full arch and full mouth. So the problem was at that time to transfer the traditional analogical knowledge in a digital way. Until I was not sure that everything was done, and I tried to give my contribution, I continued to take impression also traditionally, and then to compare with my technician with sovereign position of the STL file to compare the quality. Now I'm confident that everything is done, and I can tell you that in my country, my prosto department is the first to be completely digitalized. Our students, they don't take impression, master student, residency student, or PhD student, they don't take any analogic impression. So now
but the undergrad, they
still continue to take some impression traditionally, because there is another issue. The issue is not the school, but the practitioner they found outside. I mean, our school is an English language school. We are the only school in Italy that teach in English. And we have a lot of, the wide majority are foreign students. And the foreign students, the wide majority of them, they remain in Italy. Because they arrive, they stay 6 years, then they found maybe they engage and they make family, and they love the quality life we have, and so on. So when they go to work outside the school, they found more than 50% of dental offices, they do not have an iOS. So if they just took as a training impression digitally, they don't know how they can make a traditional impression. So we need to the undergraduate, to teach both.
I see. You've already shared a lot of information, and I know you're a little bit tight on time. So just last point.
Sure.
How do you see the development of this digital dentistry? And maybe it relates to the last point you discussed. How much further is it going to be integrated in the society of the dental society? And you said right now 50% of the clinics in Italy might not
50%.
Have more. When do you see that probably everyone's going to move to digital workflows?
Okay.
How long is it going to take?
When my generation will retire. When my generation will retire completely, we'll have for sure the I would say the digital era will be completely done. That's why, because I'm not a digital born generation. I was born and grew up with pen, pencil, papers, and a typewriter. So when the digital generation will be 40, 50, at that time we'll move completely to digital. And that is not a joke, it's between generations. It's because digital dentistry has a cost to start. And then you regain money during it's an investment, okay? You regain money using the devices. But at the beginning, it's a cost. And the young dentist, pretty often, they do not have the money to buy an iOS, for instance, or a 3D printer. And then they go to work as associate in a dental office already existing, very well implemented. And the owner is in my generation and doesn't like to move to digital dentistry. So it seems a joke, but it's not a joke. I made an example, maybe yesterday or today, I don't remember. I have many many son or daughter of dentists as a student of mine. And several of them, they came to me and said, please, can you talk with my father or with my mother or with my parents to convince them to buy an iOS? Because the young generation, they feel comfortable. They feel that that is the way we have to go. But the older generation, they feel that it is just a cost. I'll never use it. So it seems stupid as an answer, but it's this. In the reality, it's this.
Yes.
And then, of course, that will depend the cost of the devices.
Yes.
The cost of the device at the beginning was really high. Now there is more competition, so there is more affordable. I believe that in 10 years, if you want to have a number, we'll see completely change in dentistry to digital.
Well, thank you very much, Professor. I appreciate the information you shared with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.